Hello, everybody, and welcome to Series 2, Episode 2 with Platbridge. I'd like to welcome all our new followers and supporters. Again, thank you so much for all your likes and subscribes and all those who have bought me a coffee. Thank you very much once again. I'm going to keep this very short and sweet because you know and I know this guest, or even guests, are true Morris legends, and I don't want to keep you anymore. So here we go with Platbridge. Right, so here we are, episode 2. Thank you very much to Platbridge for agreeing to do this one. We've got Maureen, Anne-Marie and Susan with us as well. We're about to kick off, so off we go, ladies.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hiya.
So just to start off the Platbridge story, I spoke to Maureen Egg. Everybody will probably know Maureen was the founder of Platbridge Morris Dancers, but a little bit of history. I've spoke to Maureen yesterday just for a few more facts from Maureen and get a bit of consent from her, shall we say, just about she's unable to actually be on Zoom and she's not very well at the moment, so we're just going to say a few things on her behalf, really. So going back to Maureen's story, Maureen Egg, Maureen started dancing when she was 8. Her mum took her to a club round the corner because she's from England originally. And then the troupe she joined when she was 8 was Ingley Ulster Starlets. She was trained by Mrs. Howard and Mr. Morris helped. And then I think she had a stint at Lee West Park and a stint of dancing at Aspel. I think it was Aspel St Elizabeth's, which was very interesting because she went on to say they were sort of struggling for girls at the time at that point. And then I think she had a little bit of a break. So she did run a chippy in England at the time, and a lady came in called Pat, who suggested to her that she started her own Morris dancing troupe up. So she was 23 by that time. So she did some advertising and had lots of friends in the other troupes, and that's how it sort of started off, really. She told us a little bit about where they were practicing at the time because it was difficult to get a venue. And then she said all of a sudden it just was word of mouth that they ended up getting lots and lots of girls from different places and then built Platbridge up from there on. And it just went from success to success. So she sort of was explaining to us obviously we didn't have babies and dinkies then, so she started off with a tiny and a junior troupe and then worked towards getting a senior troupe the year after. The first organisation that they danced in was NRCO, which was sort of a break. Etico was formed from NRCO, and she was just explaining like some of the troupes they danced against in the early days was like Rufford, Cordites, Salfordettes, Blackburn Aces, Bredbury, St Andrews, a lot of like northern troops.
Manchester troops, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. I asked her about the first set of dresses they made and they wore, and she was saying like they did displays and they saved up and did a lot of fundraising, and they had navy and white. And then the year after, they went on to buy a set of dresses off a troupe called
Georgettes.
And there was big white puff sleeves, and she dyed them all pink because there was green and pink as well in the early days. And then they had sub-names at the time, like Maureen was saying, like Platbridge Antoinettes, Platbridge Excelsiors, Platbridge Debonaires. So she sort of went from success to success, and that was Maureen's history really, and the troupe went from strength to strength and was really, really successful with like we've been going 51 years this year. And with over the years I think we've danced in all the established organizations, like with just let me find my sheet, like NRCO, Etico, Merseyside, LCA, NCA. We did a couple of seasons, I think, with MDCO, NUCO, and then we did Michael's charity organisation, and we were successful in that, even though it was a one-off. So I think from that we've had lots of, you know, like with our reputation, we had a lot of people joining over the years, and we had quite a lot of troops like then going forward as it built up and got stronger and stronger.
The thing is, Jordan, I think what a lot of people don't realise is Anne-Marie and Maureen have been with Plattbridge for a very, very long time. And a lot of people know Anne-Marie and Maureen, not necessarily Maureen Egg. Nobody probably knows me, but they know Anne-Marie and Maureen. And a lot of people joined our troupe because they were friends of them, because they are the big characters of our troupe, sort of thing. I mean, I've been with Plattbridge all my life. I've only ever danced for Plattbridge. And I started when I was 7. So I was 6 or 7, 1979, when I started at Plattbridge. And it was just because a girl who I went to school with started Morris dancing. And she just said to me, do you want to come? So I went to Plattbridge and I just stayed there. I tried every sort of dancing, swimming, every other activity, and nothing stuck. It was only Morris dancing that stuck. So I've never been anywhere else. I've never finished. I've never packed in for 12 months. I've just always danced. So Wednesday night for me has always been practice night. And then, so once it got to about 2000, I think Maureen was saying, 2001, 2002, when Maureen's daughter Lisa was pregnant and she lived over in Yorkshire. So that was when Maureen started to, she needed more help training. So she asked, you know, a few different ones if they'd be able to help out. So then Carol and Joyce did the Dinkies at the time. They took on Dinkies. And I think that was roughly when, I think Babies started around about then, didn't they? Because your Shannon then was the leader of that little troop and all that. And then I took on the juniors in 2002. And then seniors in 2011. And it was only really later on that when Maureen was sort of, like you said, struggling a bit more and she did need more help, that she asked, would I take over a bit more? And that's how I became the principal. Because it's never like been an ambition to run a Morris dancing troupe or anything like that. It's not something I ever wanted to do. It's just that I love Morris dancing and I've always been with Plattbridge. So that's how come I became the principal. So whereas a lot of principals now, you know, like they've been, you know, they've danced for years or something and they think, right, I could do my own troupe. That was never like that for me. It just sort of, I did it to keep Plattbridge going in a way, to help Maureen out type of thing.
Yeah, it sort of landed on you, didn't it?
Yeah, because I was doing a lot. I've always done a lot because I've always wanted to help out. I've always been involved with everything, you know, like helping set things up, helping with the music, helping with the routines and armworks and stuff like that. And so it just ended up where I was just doing more and more. So that's how I became principal, really. Maureen's still there, Maureen Egg. Maureen still comes when she can, and you know, I would always ask Maureen's opinion because she's so knowledgeable.
Yes, yes.
I've just got the biggest respect for Maureen, so I would always ask her opinion on something Morris related. But yeah. So
I think
but
it's
like
I think. I suppose again, I always say it's kind of a testament, then, isn't it? Really, you know, you obviously must be doing something right if somebody's going to stay there for so long, because a lot of the times I feel, excuse me, in the majorettes, a lot of people tend to form a breakaway because they didn't get their own way or they want to do something, you know, that they don't like and things like that. And I think with the old school troops, you never get any of that. It's always very much thinking on the knowledge of what would the person do before me. So always thinking like, what would Maureen, you know, would Maureen have us like this, or would she, you know, be like this, or you know, one way or the other. So I think it's just a fantastic testament, really, that, you know, you were never going to let it go. So if it meant, you know, stepping up and taking on whatever, then yeah, we'll do that to keep it going.
Yeah. There was no one else would have done it, in the not, Anne-Marie.
No, no, definitely not. I mean, Susan does a lot as well, like with the, especially now over, you know, like over the years, and Maureen's took a step back. you've got more and more involved in lots of other different ways as well, aren't you? Like in terms of all the operational background stuff, as well as you know all the pressures you know you've got with like you know the troops are delegated with like other trainers as well, but it's sort of Maureen Egg's still obviously there and still comes along, but Susan sort of took over that principal sort of title, really, aren't you?
Yeah,
you know
we have to do a lot of fundraising and everything. Even though Plattbridge was in Plattbridge for years and years, when the club closed, I wrote a few dates here. Plattbridge Labour Club closed in 2014. So then from 2014, we struggled to find a practice venue. And we went from Abram Community Centre. We was there for 12 months, but it was far too small. Then we went to Welly X Servicemen's Club in Welly. We was there for a couple of years, but then that didn't really work out. And then we moved over to Whistly Mains. So, and the last couple of years, I tried to sort of, because we weren't in Plattbridge, we weren't located in Plattbridge anymore, we started to call ourselves PB Morris. So that's why it's on the T-shirt, PB, because people have got this perception that we must be in Plattbridge, but we're not anymore. We're actually located in Whistly Mains. But I didn't want to lose the history of it, because that is still who we are. But we wanted to try and also move things forward a bit. And because of how Maureen started it up, she didn't like get any backing from anywhere. She didn't have people giving her money and saying, you do this and you do that for these kids or anything. So we've had to do all this fundraising ourselves over the years. So, you know, everything that you want to do for the kids, you've got to raise the money for. So like I'm involved with trying to put bids together for the council to get money for different things. And like even last year, we managed to get, I won some funding so that we could get Zoom for 12 months so that you can have a longer Zoom session, you know, because you have to pay for that as well. So there's a lot of things that's involved with running a troupe. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realise. It's not just turning up and practising on a Wednesday night. It's everything else that goes into it. And we have got a committee. We have got a good set of mums behind us who will help and who will do things and get things organised. But you've got to have people there to drive it. So like Kelly Armstrong's like one of my key people on the committee. She collects for pontins, because I mean collecting for pontins is a full-time job in itself, isn't it? You know, you're like a debt collector, aren't you? So
I always remember talking about pontins. I always remember when I judged for Anne's dancing, she would never do pontins. She hated pontins, and it was only that the troops wanted to do it, so it was left to Leslie, who ran Marionette. She did all the pontins, and I used to think, oh my god, like it's just a task that you would never ever want, is it? You know, booking a bloody weekend for that many troops.
And there's always a palaver when you get there. There's always someone who's not got a chalet, or they're at the back of beyond, and you're all near the front. There's always something. There's always somebody that's upset. That's before you've even thought about dancing.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, if there's anything else you want to add there, history-wise, I think
you've danced for a few troops, haven't you, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, well,
I danced for different ones.
My background really was my mum took me and my sister Maureen here to a club which is a place called Welly in Wigan. And we was only about 4 or 5, so you can't really remember who trained us. Really, we just remember being taken to this little dance group, and I think I just remember doing a display. I always remember dancing in this club and just marching round in a square. Just like marching round in a square doing an old-fashioned arm work. And then it ended up where my friend Leslie, her cousins used to dance for Aspel. Morris dancers, funnily enough, who Maureen Egg used to dance for. And her cousins asked her to join Aspel, and for some reason I just joined Aspel with my friend, and Maureen ended up, you went Peel Stock, didn't you? Originally. So we danced for different troops, like when we were little, for a spell. And then I just remember dancing in Wigan Casino for in Aspel Tarnies. That was my first memory, and I just could smell silver crin hairspray. And ever since, silver crin hairspray, every time, it always reminds me of dancing in Wigan Casino when I was at Tarnies. But then, obviously, after that, I think I was about 12, and me and Maureen and her friend, we just decided to join Plattbridge. I think Upper Morris, Maureen were dancing in at the time. They'd lost a few girls, hadn't they? And
yeah, I think there was about 5, 6 of us, and we just decided get up bus, because you just could go anywhere you wanted then in them days. There were that many streets you could choose from.
yeah,
But we knew Plattbridge was a good troop, so we all got on the bus and we all just turned up one Wednesday night in 1977.
possibly.
77, I think.
Yeah.
78, and we all just all turned up.
Yeah,
And
that was it. Really, wasn't? Because I remember our practice with no pumps on, and I remember Maureen Egg saying, "You need your pumps," and I said, "I can't practice with my pumps on," and we're just practicing it back at seniors. But I remember only dancing at tinies once, and then I danced in juniors at seniors, and like it were like at carnivals, I were doubling up, so I were dancing in juniors and seniors every single Sunday, and even in them knockouts, I was. Like you double dancing all the time. I remember getting changed in an ice cream van, take it uniform off and put it senior one on. Yeah. Into arenas dancing. So that was it really. It was just because you danced for Upper Morris, didn't you, for a while, and then Maureen ended up dancing for New Springs because your friends was there. That was Deb Ward's auntie, wasn't it? And Donna Glynn, your friends.
And Bill was helping up train at the time, Bill Molyneux.
Yeah,
Bill.
Don't know if you remember Bill Jordan.
No, I don't. I've obviously seen a couple of videos with him in Etico because he judged for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think. Go on.
And then we went Plattbridge, and then we never looked back.
Yeah, we've not. No, it was just one of them. There was a few blips along the way, though, Jordan. I think it was when the Isle of Man started off, and we was really, sort of intrigued on what was going on over with Marion with Isle of Man.
Yeah.
I ended up dancing for a Liverpool troupe called Solway Solitaires when I was 16, and we was going practicing every week in Liverpool, and that was the first time I went to Isle of Man. So I was trying to work out what year it was. And it was in the Summerland. And when I got there, I dyed my hair brown so Maureen Egg wouldn't find out that I'd danced in Solway Solitaires.
Yeah.
There was a troupe called Banks, and the trainer were called Harriet. And Harriet from Banks phoned Maureen up from the Isle of Man and said, Anne-Marie's dancing for another troupe. So the week after, when I went home, Maureen obviously railroaded me behind this ice cream van at the competition, and I got told off for dancing for another troupe without telling her. So that was and then I think the year after I danced for Lee West Park, just helping them out really over at the Isle of Man, because at that point a lot of people couldn't afford to go, so a lot of troops was like wanting to go, but obviously some people with families was saying I'd love to dance there, but we just couldn't afford it. So troops used to sort of help each other out, didn't they?
But they did help each other out, but some trainers didn't like you helping somebody else out. But
yeah,
then,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, but then I think she got round to the idea that we needed girls from other troops when we went.
And then Wendy danced for us, didn't she then? That first year.
Then Wendy danced for us. Well, she said last week, didn't she?
Yeah.
See,
and I think that was the thing, really. It was like I really wanted Plattbridge to go to the Isle of Man, but it took a couple of years. So I just went, I went for 10 years on the trot. So we did a couple of dances with other troops, and then really worked with like Plattbridge and committee. And then that was obviously, we ended up going in we went in 1985, and then in 1986 it was one of their biggest successes. So I weren't bothered then about getting told off, because that was sort of the way to the road up to getting there and being successful there as well.
I think nowadays, would you even accept that? Like somebody going to dance for someone else? Seems like a big thing nowadays when that happens, doesn't it? That somebody helps someone else out.
Some of them even have it in the rules now, don't they, that you can't do that?
Yeah.
Championship, you can't. You've got to have been like registered with that group for so many weeks or whatever. Yeah. So you wouldn't get away with it now, would you?
It just
seems like rules like that are a lot stricter.
Yeah.
But like Anne-Marie said, I think it was more to do with because you wanted that experience of dancing in the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Because
it was, yeah.
I only went the Isle of Man twice, and I remember that the first time I went was when the seniors won, and I was in the juniors then, and we came second, and it was just a brilliant experience. And I'm not one of these who can remember every competition and what judge give you that and how you danced in this. The only things I remember are when I see it on a photograph and it sort of triggers something, and it might make me think, oh yeah, that looks familiar. But I don't remember those details at all. But I do remember the Isle of Man, and I remember the things like the only reason I remember dancing at the Winter Gardens at Blackpool was because there's a picture of me with my friends where we were in the jungle gym thing with our dresses on, and we just went on the playground thing in our uniform. Now you wouldn't be able to do that nowadays. You'd get absolutely lynched. Do you know what I mean? And I don't remember the dance. I just remember playing with my mates. So it's not. I don't know. I didn't remember. I don't really remember stuff like that. I just remember not the Morris dancing bits.
Yeah.
No, because it's changed a lot. Because we used to do streets, did with carnivals,
Parades, yeah.
parades.
Yeah.
You know, and if you tell any of these young kids these days, they don't.
Yeah.
That sounds awful, but
Yeah.
it wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
The
we did
minute you say
Prestwich Carnival-
parades to like younger kids
Yeah.
now, they're like, oh no. And then like when you mention it to like the older generation, they're like, oh no, like we go for like
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours on a parade. That was like the highlight of the day.
Raining and everything, and getting caught smoking these lot, and then buying chips, peas, and gravy, and getting caught off judges putting it in them plastic knacks. I mean, we did all that.
Yeah.
nipping in somebody's house for a good toilet, and one of you knock on the door, and the next minute there'd be another alt troop would be behind you just to nip in somebody's toilet.
I mean, we once went one job, it was Leyland Carnival, and they gave us 660 our number in the parade. And I thought, I'm not going out way back in there. So we went to the nursery and I said, oh, they forgot for us in the parade. He said, what you called? I said, we're called Mary Millers and we're number 2. So we ended up joining the parade right up front so we could get back sooner because it was pouring down.
Oh my god. I think it is those like golden moments, I suppose, that we miss nowadays because we dance in sports centres a lot and things like that. So, you know, kids of our, you know, of more so of the younger generation now, they're not going to experience those.
No. Because we was going to say, like Anne-Marie said, we've danced with quite a few different organisations over the years, and sort of 2011 we were still with Etico. Then we went on to do the year after because we thought we needed to do something a bit different. So we did a few competitions with NWDA and NEMDICO, and then 2013 we actually had PB on tour, and that was what we said. So we looked. I think we joined something like 5 or 6 different organisations, and I just picked out all the best competitions, and we went to lots of different carnivals and stuff like that. So like with Mineco, we went and we did the outdoor show world thing at Fleetwood, just so that the kids could see different venues, and you weren't in the same Kirby Sports Centre week after week, or do you know what I mean? So that was really good. That they got to see different things, and now that we're dancing with True, these last few years, where the girls have been able to, like, we've done Prestwich Carnival, we've done Southport dancing on the front, so it's just something different for the girls. And these last couple of years, we've even had, like, the bus has been full every week because they do want to be there, and there's some of the fun times like that we remember, because I like some, like I'm saying, these things I remember, not a dance, it's not the actual dancing, it's the other stuff. So I remember being on the bus with my mates where you used to have like the shield turned over and you'd all be playing cards for pennies, you know, and then you got told off. So every time Joan came upstairs, we had to turn it back over and pretend we were doing something else. But that was what you used to do. So you'd be with your mates all day doing stuff like that. So being able for everyone to be on the bus.
It's the atmosphere, isn't it?
The atmosphere,
and all kids, it's all about the kids and about even adults really just having that fun full day.
The mums have a laugh and everything together. That's why it's been good to do something different and to go to these different places. It's brought the fun back into it, really.
Yeah. And we were lucky, really. We've had some good. We had a few hot days as well when we've danced over with True, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that were good on them outside venues instead of being stuck in them sports halls.
No.
Yeah.
Because that's always the worst, isn't it? When the weather's cracking it outside and you're dancing inside. But I know, obviously, you do make the most of being outside by playing rounders or doing whatever you can to keep it away from like stuck inside all day. But hello everybody, and I just wanted to take a quick second out of the podcast to talk to you about Buy Me a Coffee. Now, most of you may have seen Buy Me a Coffee, but what I wanted to let you know is what it enables us to do. It enables us to upgrade our production, to keep these stories alive, bring you fresh content, and of course, a couple of live streams thrown in. If you've got the price of the admission to a competition, or even just a bit more, then we're after anything that you can donate to us. And this is what Buy Me a Coffee enables us to do. You'll see below a little link in the description, and that'll take you to our Buy Me a Coffee page, and you'll be able to see all of our ideas and what we're hoping to achieve right there. So we're going to hear some memories then.
Yeah, another big memory was when we danced over at Newcastle Carnival. We used to go quite a lot, but at the time there were big prize money at Newcastle, even for the road parade. So we never ever won any road parades all the time, like I said, because there was always mucking about, smoking and eating chips, peas and gravy and everything. But actually at Newcastle that day I said we're going to have to be proper. So we marched on our tiptoes all the way around, and then when it come to results, we ended up winning the road parade. It was the very last time we went to Newcastle. I remember we won £250 prize money for the road parade. At seniors won as well. So that was absolutely like the highlight for us, because nobody could believe it. The very first road parade Plattbridge seniors had ever won.
Because it was, but I don't know what Maureen used to do. She used to like put Sunday in the background, like in the
hiding in bushes.
In the bushes, like Columbo. Watch them and see what they're doing. So whatever we did, it always used to get back to her. Yeah. And we just wonder how she knew. We said we had a spy in the camp.
Yeah, we did.
Somebody peering behind a tree, weren't there, when you went round the corner?
Yeah. And then we ended up at one, I don't know what carnival it was. I think it was one of the Manchester carnivals. I think it might have been Chapel on the Thrift or something like that. And that day was the day when somebody were watching us from Dancing England. And he'd watched all the Morris that day. And he approached us as asking us to invite us over to Dancing England, and that was the start of that. So was it Derby we went to the first year?
Yeah.
And we got invited there, and there was great big folk dancing competition. So we was representing our style at the time, which was Fluffy Morris, and there was clog dancers and all different styles. And then we went back again the year after, and it was we sort of did a rehearsal in the afternoon, and people paid tickets to watching it was a bit like what's it called when you go and watch the afternoon session, like when you go to the theatre and then watch it
a rehearsal.
It was like
a dinner dance thing, was it more so?
Yeah,
No,
it was all different styles of dancing, like all old-fashioned different styles of dancing, not just clog dancing. They were all different things, like all swords and things like that. And they had us going as the only, like, Fluffy Morris, as they called it at that time. And I think that was early 90s, I think, wasn't it, when they did that? And we ended up going twice. And I think one time seniors stayed over, didn't they?
Yeah, we stayed over. I think we stayed twice, didn't we? But it was the matinee in the afternoon, so the people had paid to go watch in the afternoon, and the ticket prices was cheaper. But then at night, it was they were paying quite a lot for the tickets, so we felt like we were celebrities, didn't we? when we were doing that. And then I think Susan, you said, didn't you? He got back in contact with you a few years later.
Yeah,
we did it again quite recently.
Yeah, was it 2018? I think it was. And they got back in touch and asked, because we were there originally showing our style of Morris dancing, would we like to do it, like bring it back again? So we did, and we went to Sheffield, but it was I think it was early January, wasn't it? February, something like that. And where you danced, it was in a big room. It was all quite posh, but what they'd done in the middle of the room, they'd put like a raised bit of a platform for all the clog dancing, so that you could hear the clogs on the floor. So obviously, because we had a long troop and you come marching on, so you had to march up and over this like this big wooden area. So then the bit where we were dancing on the raised bit, it was like a trampoline, wasn't it, Anne-Marie? It was like dead bouncy. So if you were dancing on that bit, you were dancing up and down. Whereas if you were on the outskirts, you know, you were all right.
Yeah.
So
still thought it were good.
Yeah, everyone watching thought we were great, but we were mortified because you could just feel yourself going up and down when you were dancing. And it was worse than in Tower Ballroom when we danced in Senior Challenge and Springs were on. Yeah, it was worse than that, just in that middle bit. You were getting seasick if you were in it. And then
it was just different because we weren't being judged. Really, when you think about it. But yeah, that was really good, wasn't it? And that when I think they asked again, didn't they? They wanted the year after they asked, did we know anybody what? Because they'd only seen the kick out, hadn't they? So then they asked, could we recommend a troupe who did the down step? So we asked Arcadia to go.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think they went the year after, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So was that 2019, was that, or was that?
I think it was. Yeah, it might have been 17 or 18 when we went, and then they went the year after. Yeah, but then obviously they've not been able to do it since because of all this now, so.
And do they do that every year?
No, they did it in the, like when we first went in the 90s, and then there was a massive gap, and then the people who remembered it from years ago, they revived it. So it was called, I think it was called Dance in England Revival when we went, that right, okay. You know, like just recently. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether it was planned that they were going to do it every year after that, but yeah, we went once, and then Arcadia went the year after.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was good.
I think we touched there a little bit on Senior Challenge. I suppose that is a big memory, I suppose, because I know when I put that iconic Morris song on Facebook the other day about who my kind of guests were going to be for the next podcast, that was a song that you used, the Senior Challenge, and it just, when you watch that routine, it's just something else, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everybody comments.
And it's that music though, isn't it? Going to a party. And we had T-shirts at one point saying on them going to a party, didn't we? We used to dance to it all the time. But then it's one of them types of music where you put it away in the cupboard, and then a few years later you might think, oh, go on, we'll put that back on again, and it just comes around again, doesn't it? Because it's a good foot tapper for places like Pontins and the Tower Ballroom.
I think
it was always good for their timing and rhythm. It was. Yeah, it was like you were trying different music, and then I used to say, right, well, I put Scottish back on. Just get Scottish back on, because we know timing and rhythm's good to Scottish.
You see, up until you used that as a senior line in that 2008 year, I'd only known it to be like Babies and Dinkies. So when I seen like a senior line dance to it, I was just like in awe. I was like, wow. Because all who ever danced to it was like Babies and Dinkies. It was that first introduction of it being like easy for them. But then when I kind of seen that dance at Senior Challenge, it was just blown away by it.
I think as well, because as seniors we did the kick out, you need something that's a bit more flowy, and because everyone was dancing to like, not rave music, but you know what I mean, everyone was dancing to like a bit more modern. we needed something that was more flowy and suited our style better, which that sort of thing did. And like I say,
like Tina Arena. Yeah, that Tina Arena one's good, isn't it? I can dance. You can't do it down step to that.
No, definitely not. No matter how fast you do
it.
Yeah.
And was that a good year for you generally in Etico, that 2008 year, in terms of seniors, or?
Well, that was it the chickens year, that when we did the.
Yeah, it was the year before when we got the chickens together, wasn't it? In that at the end of the year when they were doing the fancy dress.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? And you were saying to them all, like, because the chickens started off really as the mums who'd been here for a while, but had stopped dancing. And Anne-Marie had said to him about, why don't you all get back up and form a troupe? So they did the troupe at Christmas Con, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then the following
year, they did a dance with disco wigs on T-shirts and tights because they'd no dresses, and they ended up bloody winning.
But originally, Jordan, it was just for a bit of fun.
Yeah. It was just keep fit, wasn't it? I remember you saying.
Yeah.
It was just to keep fit, and we just started dancing, and then we said, "Oh, go on, we'll go out in competition." And what was we in division? We was in Division 2. It was Division 2, weren't it?
Yeah.
And then we started winning. So thought we was like, oh God, we're winning.
Yeah.
And then and because we wasn't really serious about it.
Yeah.
Till we started winning, because my partner was Nikki. You know Nikki? Jordan, Nikki Lyon.
Oh yeah. She was.
Yeah. Well, she said to me, Maureen, will you manage to look at me today at dance? I said, well, I'll see what I can do. I said, I'm not promising anything, Nikki. I said, but I will try and glance over at you at one point.
And then she were constantly missing her armworks and everything, but funnily enough, nobody seemed to get you for doing that, didn't you? Know, have you watched some of them videos?
We had some. It was really good fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And,
So then when,
that's why.
yeah, when the idea of the senior challenge came up in 2008, that was when we sort of not put a call out, but girls who wanted to dance again sort of asked could they come and dance with the chickens, and that was how come they ended up with an 18 line, because you had like Christine who came from Valencia, and then the girls who came from Phoenix. And
Alison and Julie came, didn't they? Claire,
one of our friends, Claire, who used to dance and had moved to London, she ended up just watching the video a few times, trying to get her arm works. Then she came up and danced at Senior Challenge as well. So that was how we ended up with an 18 at Senior Challenge. But it was a really good day for everyone, that, because even though we thought chicks should have won and they didn't, and then Senior A we came second as well. So it was a good day, that, wasn't it, all round, really?
Yeah.
So did the chickens place or
no?
No.
They were number one that day, and it was
started the whole thing, yeah.
There was a bit of a standing joke about that, wasn't there, after?
Bit of a standing joke, Jordan.
Bit of a standing
No more about it.
Your kids were robbed.
That could be the new T-shirt for next year.
It was at one point.
So I suppose just fast forward a little bit then. You've brought them back what would have been last year. What was the reasoning behind that?
Because we sort of, like, Anne-Marie had been leading the seniors for what did we say it was, Anne-Marie? It was about 35 years you've been leading seniors.
Yeah, and I think I know it sounds like I were making excuses, but I've got a bunion and it was affecting my foot and it was absolutely killing me. And even though I might not look like it was really. And I just said to Susan, I'm going to have packing. So I decided, and I think I was 50, and we did the end of the season like a senior challenge what Etico did. And I said, this is definitely the last time I'm dancing. And I said, I'm going to take a step back and train, just concentrate on training more with seniors. And then I said, I want to change the style. I want to do a down step. Let's have a look at changing completely altogether, really. So that was how that came about. We looked at, the seniors going back to do it down step, because like we said, they're very versatile because they've done the down step anyway from being little. It was just the opinions we would get whether Plattbridge suited the, doing the down step. So, and that was when we got Katie leading, who's like, we've got loads of girls still in the current seniors we've got now. Like Katie led, she'd led Tarnish juniors and seniors. So, well, the first year we had Ashley leading, and then we had another change. Like, so there were mixed messages, really, weren't there, Susan? There were people saying they don't suit it. Some people don't like change, do they? But we persevered and said, well, let's still keep this young seniors doing the down step, but
because they have tried, they did try to a few years ago do it down step, didn't you? And it didn't work.
Yeah.
So and then ended up where some of us older ones who still wanted to dance, and then we had girls who had left, like you said, and then their girls had started dancing. So we thought, well, we might as well, see what we can do and see if we can get another senior troupe. And then, like we said, some of the girls who were in the down step troupe did sort of get a bit disheartened with the placings and stuff like that, and some of the feedback. So we got to a point where it looked like we might not even have a Plattbridge seniors, but we couldn't not let that happen. So we'd made sure that the chicks really had a go at it. And what was funny, because really we were saying before that when Anne-Marie had Aaron, there was like a run of the senior girls what had boys. So whereas other troops would have had all them girls coming through, you know, to like take over and be going into seniors, we didn't have that because a lot of our girls had boys. So we sort of had a bit of a where you've not got that changeover, that natural progression of the girls coming up. So then once like some of the younger ones started having girls, that's how we've ended up getting some of these chicks back. So there's a few of them there who their kids now dance like in the dinkies and the tinies, and they've come back into chickens. Yeah. And then we've also got girls who've come back who'd not danced for like 20 years. You know, they left when they was in juniors. They might have done 1 or 2 seasons with the seniors, but then once we got the chicks back up, they just call in for have a drink with Anne-Marie and Maureen. They just have a chat, and the next minute they're asked if they've got some pumps in the bag. Yeah, so because that's what people do. Because people come to Plattbridge because of Maureen and Anne-Marie. They come because they're the characters of the troupe. You know, so they'll like. I mean, I know we laugh about it, but they do. These two will turn around and say to you, "Why don't you come and have a drink and we'll have a chat and we'll have a catch up?" Yeah. And before you know it, you've reminisced about all the good old days at Maris dancing, and then you're in chicks. Well, just watch out, Jordan. We'll have you put one next week.
You have the red band in there.
Yeah. I think that is a way. I know we said about characters. Do you know what I mean? We're never short of characters, but you are just two of the characters in the Morris world. You know what I mean? There's nobody you can't speak to who has never seen you in person or dance or however. Everybody. Yeah, exactly. So it's just a testament of that of how long it's been and how it's worked so well to remain.
but when you look at with it just shows you. I mean, I only messaged everybody, didn't I, that day, and just I thought I'll get right pitch here, and I said, it's keep fit, you can get back into it, and we'll just do simple arm works, a couple of easy formations, and some of them have come back and said it's best thing I've ever done for my mental health. I've not danced for 20 odd years. It's got me back into socialising. We've got Annette, like she's got a really good asset with kids, so she's, you've got people like that coming through, aren't you, like helping. She's like a counsellor and everything. So we've got like really, really, like some of the funny girls, haven't we?
Yeah, and it's good because other troops, their girls, say they've got younger seniors and they can't dance anymore, but they still want to dance. They've ended up coming as well, like Gail from Pemberton, and she loves it.
Yeah.
Because
she kept saying, like, I do want dance, but my seniors now, they're all like 16 and 17, and she's 50-ish. She said, I feel more comfortable like dancing with the older girls. That's all it is, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just carrying it on.
And you've not got that pressure, of you have to win.
That's it. We're dancing because we love dancing. Yeah. That's it, really. It's not that same pressure.
The only pressure is from ourselves.
That's it, really. That pressure is from ourselves. We want ourselves to get better every week. So, and last season that we danced, we was coming up and we was like touching them placings, and we were just like, please, let's just get in them results. We were just, like knocking on the door type of thing. So we were ready for last season to all like give it a good go. But then obviously with COVID, I mean, the first competition that was cancelled was our competition, what would have been our 50th celebrations. And chicks would have been out then, and we'd have been wiping floor at senior 2, wouldn't we, Anne-Marie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that was something I touched on about just commenting on. It's been a while since I've seen those top troops, so to speak, yourselves, Belmont, Millennium, Marionettes, New Springs, those lines, and I obviously did get the opportunity to judge that first comp, and I was totally blown away by that senior one line, and I said it before and I'll say it again. I think 2020 was obviously set to be a really good year, maybe not just so for the other lines, but I feel definitely for that senior one line,
Yeah, they give them the due. Them girls, they really worked hard coming into the start of that season. They really put everything in because they wanted to win. They really wanted it. And we thought with the seniors, we thought we'd started off well. And even for all our little lines as well, they'd all started off well at the beginning of that season. And it's just a shame that 2020 didn't happen. And it's good. It'll be hard getting back into it when we do get back into it. But I'm sure, I do hope that they've all got the same fighting spirit to get back into it and, show what we could do, really. Yeah. Because like we said before, for us, these last few years, Morris dancing has not just been about the dancing, it's been about everything else, what we do as well. So like it was when we started with the PB on tour in 2013, I think it was just before that actually, where we started doing things like the Carnival Queens, because Anne-Marie Moynadar has been involved in that, and you from from when the kids were younger, and Shannon won that big Rosebud competition, didn't she? So we'd got into doing a Miss Platt Bridge. So we were doing that. We'd started doing a Miss Platt Bridge, and the kids got a sash when they won.
That was for raise money as well, Susan, wasn't it? That was another fundraising.
Yeah, because obviously it costs a lot of money to run a Morris dancing troupe, and you're trying to think of different ways, things what you can do to fundraise all the time. So we did the Miss Platt Bridge. We did Platt Bridges Got Talent. We did
the open day all on one day.
Yeah, we did the open day as well. So at the beginning of the season, so that the families could come and watch the girls, in the club. So all they were different ways to raise money and everything. Yeah. So we've done a lot of things like that over the years, and everyone does get involved. So yeah, it's been good.
I suppose it's another avenue to just keep people interested, isn't it? In the closed season more so of having little competitions and things like that. Because I know we mentioned about the knockout comps that used to happen, back in the kind of your younger days of Morris dancing. That was something that you look forward to probably in the winter months. And you do all your dancing season, and then you do these knockout tournaments.
I mean, we used to dance every night, didn't we? At them knockouts. Yeah, I know. I remember one week we did like Plattbridge on a Monday, Pemberton on a Tuesday. Was it St Andrews on a Wednesday? And because I always remember Monton Ladybirds was the very last one on the Friday. I mean, you was exhausted, and then you were dancing out on the Saturday and Sunday as well at some points because the competitions used to be held on a Saturday. I know there's one organisation there still does a Saturday, but years ago, when you think it worked,
no, it was so some weeks it was Saturday, Sunday. If it were bank holiday Monday, we'd go out Monday as well.
Yeah. I remember Rita always used to have Easter champs, didn't she, in Kingsbury on that Monday?
Yeah,
we. Imagine doing that now.
I know.
No.
There'd be an uproar, wouldn't there, nowadays?
Yeah.
People love a good bank holiday.
Though, we used to come back. We used to travel because we had a double-decker bus and a single one as well. We used and all them knockouts, really, we just nobody used moan or anything, and we was just singing our heads off on way back, all Plattbridge songs. I mean, we've absolutely loads, and they've all been brought back just recently, haven't they? And they've been saying, sing them again, what you used to sing years ago. So we'll just do you one if you want.
Go on, then.
Blue and white are our rosettes, we are called the Antoinette.
The burners, Excelsiors, and Tanners.
We're the best in Lancashire.
We will be the lot of you.
Now we've had experience of dancing. Like that.
Very good.
We've got loads of them.
And I just think, obviously, for the kids as well, that's the whole camaraderie of being on the bus, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some modern ones, but they're not as good as our old ones, aren't they?
and once or twice, she used to let us put whitening on bus when we won.
Yeah.
Because Champs was outside at one time at Withenshaw.
Yeah, it was.
And she used to let us put whitening on bus.
You used to write all over the windows, didn't you, with whitening?
Oh my God.
I've got a picture like that of the old bus, our old blue and white bus, coming back from the Isle of Man with everything what we'd won all over at windows.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that double-decker bus went Isle of Man and everything. Remember on that ferry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know that was something Wendy said last week about being on the ferry and then getting there for about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then the dancing started. You know, there was just like, you know, it was just like a full on time. But
I don't remember any dancing at Isle of Man. I just remember going out at night with my friends.
But if you remember, the Isle of Man, the laws were different over there, and the pubs was open all day. Where here, they wasn't at that time. You know that the pubs, the times of the pubs used to be very different, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because I remember the going in a pub in the Isle. Well, it was in the Lardo. Was it the Lardo when you could go in there during the day and get half a lager and black and sit and watch majorettes?
I were only 15, so I don't remember that.
So that just shows you how long ago that was.
wow.
I know. But yeah, it was
When we went Isle of Man, we was in an hotel, and we was in, I think it was Shaftesbury.
Yeah, with the jazz band and
we was with the jazz band, and we was with some entertainers, and we got friendly with them, with the Rachel's.
yeah, Rachel's we were with for Shea. Yeah. I mean, you never got a wink at Isle of Man with all them battens and all them drums all on prom at 6 in the morning.
So how did it work then? Did you all just kind of, with the hotels, you know, big hotels, or were they enough to obviously house you all and others?
Some were bigger than others. There were guest houses, hotels, weren't they? And it would normally have 2 or 3 troops in one, didn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that was what we did. We sort of looked for the best ones. I stayed with Ladybridge one year when I went watching, and we was in a side street, and that was only very small. But then we've stayed in like Shaftesbury, and I can't remember other couple what when I've gone with like other troops, but some of them had like 3 or 4 troops in jazz bands, and
I just remember being I remember being in a hotel on the front, so that afterwards, you know, after the results, and then everyone was stood outside of their own hotels singing, you know, like along the prom.
Yeah.
So if you looked out, you could see like another troop singing one of their songs further down, and then someone else further down. So can you imagine all them people who lived in Isle of Man at that time walking up and down prom, and there was all these mouse dancers and entertainers and everyone singing songs like that, what we just sang.
It was
We're all
thinking.
like sad.
Yeah, and it was good because Marion used to come to your hotel if you'd got it results, didn't you?
Oh, right. Okay.
On that Saturday come.
Yeah, they did stuff like that, didn't they?
Yeah, she used to come to
I remember her coming to her hotel telling Maureen the juniors was in a dance off to be prepared for the day after. That was one thing they did.
Yeah.
You know, because it was something that you danced and gone back to your hotel, you know what I mean? So I remember that was...
Yeah, and you didn't have a mobile phone then, didn't you? No, it's not that they could just ring you up and tell you. Yeah.
No. I mean, you have to get on an horse and tram and go down prom and
Did you ever...
that junior troop, I think they danced rubbish.
Yeah, they did.
And then they thought, they'd not come anywhere. And then she turned up and said they were in a dance-off. Well, that was it. Then
we couldn't believe it.
We couldn't believe it.
It was absolutely rubbish, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever had the joys of Bridlington?
No.
That's one place we never went.
No.
Ah, right, okay.
We did look at going. Our friends from Pemberton used to ring us and keep us updated with what was going on. And I know Samantha went with the Ormskirk, Sapphires and that went, didn't they?
Yeah, we never went.
But we never went.
Yeah,
no, but
wasn't.
I've seen that venue, looks amazing.
Yeah, because I've judged the majorettes in there a couple of times, and just exactly like what you said about the front, you know, everyone's kind of on guest houses and things like that. I just think, I don't know, part of it work, and then I parts of it are better in Pontins. You know, I know it's a there's no other way to describe it than a shithole, really. But you know, it's our place, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's you go. You know,
I mean, we call them chalets rotten, but we still go back, don't we? Because that dance floor's brilliant, especially the ones at Southport and Wales.
That's why we like. Yeah, that's why we like Southport, isn't it? Because we used to always stop round the boating lake. We used to always stay at the front there, so you could sort of see everything what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, when Elaine had her 40th year when was that? A couple of years ago, she invited us that year, didn't she? And we were treated like VIPs, and we had the chalet like on the same row as the judges, didn't we?
Yeah,
and
never been in the chalets before, in them posh ones.
Yeah, all majorettes. And it was quite posh, that one.
It was.
But we have stayed in. We once stayed, Jordan, in one, and when we got in it's happened twice. When we got the keys to the chalet, somebody'd left a Sunday dinner in the oven, and it had all moss on it. I don't know how long it had been there. And then one year we went, and somebody left a full English in a frying pan under the grill.
Full English.
So, I mean, you can imagine some of them were rotten, weren't they? But you still have best times at places like that.
Yeah. You know, you say, when you kind of explain to people about what it is that you do, and you obviously go there, people don't understand. Like, you know, people go, you pay that to go there, and you're like, you just don't get it.
I know all the girls look forward to like the fancy dress. Like we started that off years ago, didn't we? Like doing fancy dress on the Friday night and coloured themes, and they start off at the beginning of the year, don't they? Like excited, saying what theme are we doing this time, and
it's like a massive thing with the Morris dancers, though. I feel that fancy dress is taken a lot more seriously than the dancing.
It does. We spend on that lead up to Pontins. We spend more time planning the fancy dress and what we're doing than we do the practice sometimes. Maureen used to come mad. Honestly, she's come mad. And at one point, we used to do starter season champs as well as end of season champs. Because when the last time we did a starter season champs and we stayed over at Pontins, I'd only just had Isabel. So I'd had her in the February, and then we went to Pontins in the April, and I was training the juniors then. And there's a picture of Isabel sat on my knee with all the juniors around me, and she's absolutely screaming her head off. And I think it's because she was at Pontins.
Probably.
But that fancy dress, Jordan, I think we've done every fancy dress going, because for the past 20 years, we've always gone to Benidorm in May with all our friends from dancing and celebrated like 18th, 21st end parties, and we also do a fancy dress night there. So it got a bit of Wigan lingo. We call it fanny dress. So we've got a fanny dress for Benidorm, and then we've got fanny dress for Morris dancing. So we've done every single fanny going,
and everyone.
I think it does become a lot harder. I can probably imagine when you do try and think of different fancy dress options, and it's obviously it's one of them where if you want everybody to do it, you know, it's got to be kind of, you know, clean and friendly. And
I've always said these past few years, that's why we've sort of gone for a theme rather than everyone has to be one particular thing. Because if you've got like families who've got 5 kids, you don't want them to be spending reams and reams of money on a fancy dress outfit that they're only going to wear once or twice maybe. So like the last year at Pontins, did we end up doing, was we Greece? Did we all do Greece? So then you could pick whichever thing you wanted to do out of it. Yeah, so like me and Claire were dressed as John Travolta wig on. Yeah, and then all seniors, they all did what's it called? Like beauty school dropout. They're dressed as that. So and then we've had one where it was the Enchanted Forest, and like kids were dressed up as butterflies and things, you know, so you can choose something within that theme, so you can make it as cheap as you want to, because you don't want people to be spending a fortune. And as well, some people are maybe a bit more reserved, and you know, they don't want to necessarily do exactly the same. So I'm not one for saying everyone's got to be this, you know, tinies have got to do this, juniors have got to do this, seniors have. We just tried to do it as a theme, so you could, you know, do whatever you wanted to do.
I think that's it, because they look forward to like the True's Got Talent from the beginning of the year, and that was when they were really every Wednesday they were practicing, weren't they, like doing the choreography, Shannon and Ashley, and some of the other and that joined everybody in. There were babies, dinkies, tinies, mums and dads, and we did Joseph, didn't we, that year?
Yeah, brilliant. That
was really good. But there's other things alongside it, isn't there, what you socialise with, and what make it like a, you know, like more fun, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because I think I know we've touched on the fact, you know, that we don't do a lot of carnivals nowadays. So there needs to be other avenues that keep you interested, I suppose, because you would get bored of this, you know, with dancing in sports centres and things like that.
Yeah, that's why we like being with True these past couple of years, because you can see, you can go to other places. Sorry, background again. So they do have other things that are going on, because like for them, quite a few years really, like you said, the girls had only gone to sports halls and they didn't really know what Maris dancing was all about. So that was why we did in 2013 and did the PB on tour, and we picked all the better competitions to go to. And then these last few years with True, it's been that same thing again, where there's been like Prestwich Carnival and going to Southport. So at least where you're dancing on the fair, the kids can go on the fair, or you've got the entertainers in the other arena. So there's something else that's going on. Yeah. And that's what brings them back to coming on the bus and everyone sitting together and even just having a drink together and a laugh together. It's just, I think Maris dancing for us anyway, for Plattbridge, has had to move on. And it's not just about the dancing, it's everything else that goes with it. That's what's been hard in all this pandemic, really, that you're not seeing everyone.
Trying to keep everybody together, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the last few years we've done a lot of different things to keep everyone going. We've done our own bongos bingo and just different things like that to try and just do something different.
Yeah.
So
you do other things as well, don't you? With like rewards from like presentation night, like you say, like seniors going watching a show at Blackpool and might be Funny Girls, and then little ones going to Little Disney on Ice, and I mean a lot of troops do the same thing, but it's just like rewarding them than just giving them a medal and a trophy.
Yeah, because I mean, when we was little, you only got a medal at presentation night. There wasn't a medal man who turned up every week and you got to buy your own medal for 50p. You got one at presentation night. And we used to get, if you got three, you had to get three thirds, 2 seconds, or a first to get a medal. So depending on what season you've had, you might just have 3 medals at the end of the year, and that's all you went on stage for at presentation night. But that was what you'd earned. So you had to build that up over the year. I mean, that's where all these have come from.
Yeah. Hey, they're neat, them, Susan.
I know, but and that's everything all them years. But then, like of Isabel, she's only 10. She's got a medal waistcoat that's got that many on it. Do you know what I mean? Because they
just get them willy-nilly, really, don't. And then if they go into marching competitions, they get them for that, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's like a medal for Troop of the Year, medal for winning on the day.
Yeah, the last season that we danced, I won more marching competitions then, and I never used to enter marching competitions. I've only just started doing them recently, and I've won more of them medals now than I ever have in the other 30 years.
Well, I've never been in for a marching competition in my life. I can't understand it.
I only do it
now. Not need to, you leader of the year.
I know, yeah. I only do it now because I think I want to push the girls to go in it. But if they don't see me doing it, I think, wow, So, yeah.
I do like watching them, but I'll sooner sit at side and watch.
I think, coming towards, this year more so. I mean, we spoke about hopefully, there might be an opportunity to dance again this year, maybe. But is there anything that you've been doing more so recently, given this third lockdown, more so than you have done last year?
Well, we have been doing virtual practices anyway. I've not been pushing them to get involved with it because I know a lot of people don't like it, and that it's fair enough because everyone's trying to deal with this in their own way. So I wouldn't be. I mean, I said to all the trainers, don't be pushing the girls to join in. If the mums are busy, if they're doing something, they'll join of their own accord. So, but we have had a lot of the babies, dinkies, tinies, all joining in with the virtual practices, which has been good. And then when we could get in the club, that was good as well because everyone came back in. I mean, it wasn't the same because you couldn't do the dance proper. Like we were dancing in hoops and you were all a metre apart and everything like that. But at least you were back seeing each other and you were just socialising again. So now, come this year now, we have started doing the virtual practices again. At the end of last season, we even did a virtual presentation night. So I did that over Zoom, and we did a few awards, not a lot because you obviously couldn't reward them for Maris dancing because we've not really, we hadn't done it. We'd only done 2 comps, but we did do a virtual presentation, and All the girls got a bit of a present and a certificate and everything. So it's just trying to keep in touch with everyone. And now that the seniors, we've started practicing twice a week now. So we've even got up to 6.5 minutes at the weekend. We did an extra practice on Sunday.
Quite proud of ourselves.
Yeah, so I mean, we can be on to each other for an hour, and we only do 6.5 minutes dancing. And the rest of it's just chatting and just keeping connected with people, really. Because otherwise,
feel better though.
Yeah, because otherwise some people can just be sat on their own in their house, can't they? Whereas, can come on and have a chat with us.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's dealing with it dead different, aren't they? So we've said, like, you just come on it, even if we've just said, don't do your arms, just build your stamina back up. And even if you just want to do a couple of minutes or not even that, we're just saying do anything. Nobody's under any pressure. But the feedback's been really good, hasn't it? Saying they've enjoyed the chat as well before and after.
I think like what Maureen said before in terms of the whole, your mental health, it's just a perfect, hour out of everything that's going on, taking an hour to just, whether it's, chat or whether it is, to dance, it's just getting you away from everything. It's like, like we're chatting now, it's a little bit of normality as so to speak, what you might be doing on a Sunday. And that was the reason I set these up, just to kind of speak to people who I haven't had the opportunity to speak to, and obviously hear about, your pastimes and, what those, early years were like for some of us who obviously weren't around. Because there's so much that's happened over the years, and obviously more so last year, people had the time to reflect on the fact that, it's been the longest time out, and you don't realise.
I don't think anybody will mourn anymore about getting up.
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah. I think even organisations might approach it different as well, though, because there will be people who will have got used to doing something different of a weekend. You know what I mean? Like enjoying your Sunday lying and getting up to be able to do something. So it might be that organisations don't dance out every week, or they might just, especially at the beginning, they might just have to do a few outdoor venues, or even maybe outdoor knockouts, like on a Sunday afternoon, so that there's only a few troops who are going to be there and you're not there for all day, so there's not as many people there. So there might be different ways that we're going to have to adapt, because, if they're saying that everyone can't get together in big groups for months and months, we just got to see what we can do really and how we can work it.
Vaccine's on though now, isn't it? So that's positive.
Yeah, definitely. But I would like to think, when you mentioned about the knockout comps, I would like to think, because obviously talking back to how they were run, it was obviously troop run, wasn't it? The troops kind of run it themselves. So, there's enough of you out there to be doing a couple of little comps and getting things.
Yeah, but in them days, all you had to do in the club was set your record player up, and then somebody, when it gets to the end, you pick it up and put it back on again. It's not the same now, is it? When you've got all these speakers and all your decks and everything like that.
It's not that. It was your practice venue, wasn't it? They were all labour clubs.
Yeah.
And you had the atmosphere of the club. Black peas, hot dogs.
Yeah, bingo in between. It would just
because
then you had your semi-final, your quarter-final, and then there were dance-offs in between, and they were belting really then, weren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas you think of in our club now, we'd only just get all our troop in. We wouldn't have any room for anyone else, wouldn't we not?
No.
It makes you wonder how people fitted in.
I know it does.
I think as well, that's what we were saying, wasn't we, about the whole approaching competitions differently now. We see how many people are in a sport, so you do think to yourself, like, are we ever going to get back to that? Obviously we are, but it's just how long is it going to be?
Yeah.
And how do we adapt to those things? But I do, like we said about the vaccine, and hopefully it is a positive outcome, I suppose.
And as it says on your t-shirts, you just have to keep the faith.
Yeah.
Keep the faith.
Yeah.
Keep the faith.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect message.
Yeah.
So, unless you've got anything else more to add, no.
I think that's it. Just thanks.
Yeah, I think if we could do that, I know there was a lot of people that we, you did thank yesterday that obviously didn't get
Yeah,
there
I mean,
tonight, so.
I know I said about, like, you know, I didn't choose to be principal type of thing, but I couldn't do it without all the other trainers that we've got as well. Because each of our lines has so many different training. I couldn't do it without them, and without the likes of Maureen, who's always there for, you know, like a bit of advice, a bit of guidance. Joan, who's been on the committee for years, and my mum Linda, she helps me a lot. So there's and all the other mums, you know, like who we've got on the committee, and the mums who just back us every week for everything that we need to do. I couldn't do any of that without them. I mean, and there's people who are like respect in the Morris dancing world as well, like Barbara Anderton from Etico. She's always there for a bit of advice if you need it, a bit of a word in my ear or whatever. So there's a lot of people who are behind Plattbridge or PB family, like that's what we sort of call ourselves, you know. So yeah, there is a lot of people behind us. I mean, I do it more now for Isabel and how she likes Morris dancing and keeping it going for her. And yeah, so it's more for the kids and just the fun of it, and because I enjoy dancing, you know, rather than being a principal. It was never a burning ambition to be a
Morris dancing principal.
No.
Well, you're doing a good job, Susan.
Thanks, Maureen.
Maureen and Marie, is anyone you would want to just say a quick?
Well, I think same as Susan, really. Like, we've got a good, strong committee. They've got to be recognised for what they do. And again, really, like, all the supporters, all the senior girls what's been in for over 20 odd years are still the current seniors what are there now, you know, still keeping it all together.
And I hope they just all come back.
I know, and it's like, you know, the loyalty's there, that, you know, so you've got like their mums who, because you know, we've got a big band of supporters, haven't we? When you go weekend, they might not come on a Sunday, but they will come to the championships at the end of the year, and it's all to do with like all the claps you get and all the support you get, all the applause you get, and you know, helping with fundraising in the background, and you know, just all like you've said, really, like yourselves and Maureen Egg, it's and all the other people who, because we know that many people who help us out when we need to do, like Samantha from Arcadia with our uniforms, and the list is never ending for thanking people, really, isn't it? Not, you know.
Yeah. Like when you mentioned uniforms, then I was going to say about Leah as well, because we had Leah booked in, but then as well, when we was on about girls dancing for other troops, we asked Leah one week, could she come and lead chicks, because we were short.
Yeah,
so
there's
all friends, there's friends like that what you know you can call on, you know, and they'll help you out. So yeah.
Well, that's been good, but yeah, I just think we've been really successful anyway, haven't we, over the years, and we've, you know, we're still up there with you know, the best of the best, and we've been going 51 years and still going strong, hopefully, and keep the faith that
we're dancing out this year.
That we're dancing out at some point this year.
Yeah. Thanks to all the girls for keeping it going and turning up every week.
Yeah.
They're the ones that do it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Thank you very much for, you know, agreeing to do this, and obviously it was fantastic to hear those memories and obviously the wonderful stories. So fingers crossed we can see each other in real life sometime soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, you very much.
Jordan. It's our favourite subject.
Wow. Thank you very much to Susan, Anne-Marie and Maureen for taking us on a fantastic trip down memory lane and letting us know a little bit of history into Plattbridge and also their time in the Morris world. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode even more so, and if you have, then please see the description below for the Buy Me a Coffee link, and you can buy me a coffee pretty much and help this podcast grow. A little side note from the Buy Me a Coffee, we are going to introduce a sponsorship section to the episode, and if you want more information about that, you'll see a little link below in the description with everything you need to know about that if you're a business that wants to, or a company or anything like that, and you want to feature on an episode, then go on the link below and that will give you everything you need to know. Once again, thank you so much for following us and, you know, joining us on this journey. I really hope you'll agree that the stories are just fantastic, and everything that we want to achieve, we're achieving with the help of you, and your follow to us is just booming. It's just making us want to do these podcasts even more. So thank you so much. And we'll see you for episode 3.